Well, hello.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy you're all with us today. We have about a minute before we get going. Hi, Jan.
Jan. Oh. Hello from the Scottish Highlands.
No, I don't.
Marlene, hi. All right, great. So, you can hear us and see us.
That's a really good first step.
That's a plus or a minus, depending on how you look at it.
That's a good point.
If you don't like looking at us, then you can always delete the screen and just listen.
Yeah.
Like it's a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I guess it means that our Wi-Fi is healthy on this Health and Fitness Day, since you can see us and hear us. That's good. Welcome, everybody. If you might be new to us, apologies.
Well,
first of all, I'm Aaron.
and I'm Patrick. We're glad you're with us, and welcome to A&P Adventures. You might hear it's a little hot today, so
It's muggy.
Yeah, it's muggy. So we turned our AC on, so you might hear the hum of our AC in the background. If that gets to be too much, let us know.
We have to do that for our health.
That's right. It's a health reason.
Yeah, to stay nice and cool.
That's right.
A few things about us, if you are new to us. Our page, you'll see lots of tours out and about New York City and beyond. And we have a lot of these chats. We try to do them as frequently as we can, these little at-home chats. We're reversed again, says Mark. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah, we don't understand what that is, Mark, but I know, I hope it doesn't mess up my good side, because it's like a reversed screen.
Well, you're only good sides. That's all. That's all
See?
there is.
A
Yeah.
healthy relationship.
Yeah, healthy relationship. I like it.
Hi to everyone. We've gotten lots of hellos. I'm sorry we haven't caught up, but thanks Rosie, Nancy, Natalie, Mimi. Oh, we're backwards again. Yes, I know Mimi. Robin, hi. Hi Mark. And hello everyone. Thank you. Tracy. Maybe if they change seats. I think if we could change seats.
I know we could, but it might throw us off, like majorly.
I know.
Yeah. I will say that in terms of like what went up this week, we had a short pop-up on our site this week that was some cool, the jazz band that we saw.
Oh, that was really
by
fun.
Macy's,
Yeah.
that we just stumbled on.
Yeah.
They were terrific. I could have sat there all day long.
I know. If you just go outside here in Manhattan, you'll stumble upon something.
You'll stumble upon something. Let me tell you.
That's true. Yes, but I mean, there's just always something happening. New York is such a vibrant, and ever changing, ever evolving, and active and exciting city. So,
Yeah.
we try to get out and about in it as much as possible. And for those of you who don't know what Hego was, when we worked on Hego. We got out and about and showed people the city as much as we could because Hego was a virtual touring company that we did a lot of tours, and we hope to get back to those soon, not to Hego, but to those live tours. It gets a little tricky with our signal because it's very unpredictable, the YouTube signal. We're reliant on whatever connection we have in that part of town. So, those were fun to do, and we do hope to get back to some of those. But right now, we're doing these at-homes. It's a great way that we can control our Wi-Fi and our signal and
still connect.
And still connect with people.
Yeah,
So,
which is lovely.
Yeah.
Other things that popped up this week on our A&P Adventures page, a city walk, Madison Square Park. We got a nice day for it too. And it was a good tour. So if you've never seen Madison Square Park with us or without us, check that out. That popped up this week. A nice, clean live, we filmed it live.
yeah,
obviously.
it was live when we were there.
Yeah, tour of Madison Square Park. Not a rerun from Hego, but speaking of Hego reruns, we did post a Hego rerun this week of Coney Island. Nice return to Coney Island. So that is a tour that we did on Hego. That was we posted the rerun of that. Thanks, Kathy. And that should be a lot of fun as well. So if you've never seen Coney Island before, or you want to revisit it, check that out, Coney Island. Any other updates in terms of our page?
I think that's all of our A&P
Okay.
Adventure business.
I just want to point out you have bananas on your shirt.
I do. That's bananas. Bananas are healthy.
Bananas are healthy.
Yeah, you get some good potassium if you need
Potassium.
it. Bananas.
I get Charlie horses. Do you get Charlie horses?
I was trying to think of a joke, but no, I mean, yeah, from time to time, I guess.
That was what I was always told as a kid. Like whenever I got a Charlie horse, eat a banana.
Oh yeah.
Eat a banana.
Need some potassium
But like
or water.
or water.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you're like, I can't make it to the kitchen to get a banana. I'm gonna fall over. So I guess you have to proactively eat the bananas. So, oh, Shamika, you're allergic to bananas and berries.
Oh my gosh.
Boo
Wow.
bananas and boo berries. No.
So to you, they are boories and bananas.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I do love bananas in cereal. I love that.
Oh, gosh,
Natalie can't have
yes.
the texture of banana, but Natalie, can you have bananas like banana bread?
Like a banana flavored something?
Yeah, I don't like artificially flavored banana.
Thanks, Natalie.
Like I can't I love bananas, but artificial flavor of bananas. How do you?
What's a Charlie horse? Well,
Wait, I was asking a question.
I'm so sorry.
How do you feel about artificial flavored bananas? Or the artificial flavor of bananas?
I guess so. I mean, I'll have, was it like Now or Laters or some kind of candy that was like a...
Runts?
Yeah.
Maybe not right. Now and later. No, it's now and later's.
Yeah. Now or Laters.
Now or later's.
Now or Later, right?
Well, you could have a now and later. Or now, I can't remember which one it was.
So I guess so. Yeah, banana flavored things.
I don't know. Say artificial flavor of banana. I don't like.
I guess. I don't know.
Give me real banana.
Someone asked what is a Charlie horse, like a cramp in a muscle cramp.
Yeah. And it's no fun. Yeah,
No.
muscle spasm. There you go. In
Yeah,
the calf.
yeah.
You're like, oh, it's no.
I don't know why they
fun.
call it a Charlie horse. That's ridiculous.
I know.
What is that? I wonder what that is from.
I don't know. We'll have to look that up.
All right.
And poor Charlie the horse. To have that's like Black Eyed Susan. I'm like, where did
Yeah.
that name come from?
Yeah, that's a terrible name too.
I love that. We both. What's Patrick's favorite flower? I think it's your favorite.
Well, it's from I'm from Maryland, like Mark, and it's the Maryland state flower. Is the Black-eyed Susan. I'm embarrassed to say I don't know what the real name of that flower is, but I do love that flower.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, did Susan trip on something, and they named the flower after her? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Poor thing. Banana cream pie, absolutely.
Oh, banana split. Now we're talking.
I haven't had one in forever.
That's for your mental health.
Yes,
Banana splits are for your mental health.
and a little bit of your physical health. You get a banana.
Sure. Yeah, you throw in a little fruit with your dessert.
What if it was like, I have to eat banana splits because I get Charlie horses. So I have to do that.
Oh, your favorite flower too, Tracy.
Well, so today's discussion, if you didn't know, is about health and fitness.
Yes, health and wellness.
Just kidding, health and wellness.
Health and wellness. I just checked.
Yep, health and wellness. Like I said, health and wellness.
For those of you that don't know this, whenever Aaron and I do one of these live chats, we both separately like kind of jot down things that we want to talk about, and we don't discuss these things with each other, so that we feel like it can be like a fresh conversation, and we'll see where the chat leads us. But
Susan said I did not trip. LOL. So Susan. Then where does the Black-eyed Susan, is it named after you? Did you you didn't trip, but did you accidentally hit yourself on the eye or something? Anyway, such a funny name. Sorry, do you want to start?
Sure. I mean, we may as well get started. I had like a couple of headers, one of which was like physical health. Like we
Okay.
could start there.
Sure.
I feel like we both kind of, have a good balance, but we take care of our physical health. Aaron jogs, and and we both try to take care of ourselves physically. We both try to, I wouldn't use the term workout as much as I would say we just, we move our bodies in
Yeah.
some way or another.
We're lucky that we live in New York City. Too.
That's very true. Very true.
Because we walk everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
we either take the subway or we walk, and we'll oftentimes walk further rather than take a subway. We'll be like, oh, it's a nice day. Let's take that.
Yeah,
walk.
it's only 20 blocks, so yeah.
I always say that it's important to have good sneakers when you live in New York because that's your car.
That's true. Very true.
And we both change our sneakers frequently.
Yeah.
Because we wear them down so much.
It's a funny thing, maybe I'm sure they do exist, but I don't see a lot of New Yorkers with large, pun intended, large weight problems. And I don't know if I don't. Maybe there. I'm sure we do have health issues in that way, but
I would think it's relative.
there's a built-in. When you live in New York, you move every day.
Yeah.
You have no choice but to move, unless you have a physical disability that prevents you from moving. You're kind of forced to walk to the subway and take subway stairs and to walk everywhere. So I sort of feel like we're lucky in that way. We have a built-in moving system. We do try to move every day, and even if it's just to get from point A to point B, we do keep ourselves physically moving.
Thank you, Marlene. There we go. A little bit of a Charlie horse, how it was named. Charlie worked for the Chicago White Sox in the 1800s. Another name. And the name started as he suffered a lot of muscle cramps. Some say it's named for the old horse that plowed the baseball field.
We're all learning. We're all getting healthy.
I love it.
We're all learning about health.
Also, someone else mentioned in terms of Black-Eyed Susan, Black-Eyed Peas as well.
Oh,
Maybe
well, I mean, that's a more obvious one because they have like the black, it looks
little-
like an eyeball and there's like a
Yeah.
black center.
Well, Black-Eyed Susan has the
Well,
black
that's
center,
true.
too.
Oh yeah, I guess it could be that.
But why is it Susan? Anyway, Kathy also mentioned sleep is essential for good physical health.
Oh gosh, yes.
I would say
oh.
and mental health too.
Yeah,
for that
totally.
matter, Kathy.
Sleep,
Yeah.
it repairs everything. Sleep repairs everything. And, I'm sure we have some people on this chat that have the same issue as me. I don't sleep great. But when I do get a good night's sleep, oh my gosh, I wake up just feeling like $1,000,000. It repairs everything. It really does.
It's restorative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, sleep, what is that? I know.
Yeah, I hear you now.
I just saw a funny meme about sleep. Now I can't remember it. There are so many though, but I know it was a Mean Girls. Stop trying to make fetch a thing. Stop trying to make sleep a thing.
Yeah,
Because
right,
someone was
right.
like wide awake.
Yeah.
But that's the hardest thing too when you lay down and you're like, I need sleep.
Yeah.
Like, get a good night's sleep, Aaron, and then you don't. The minute you tell yourself to get a good night's sleep,
Yeah.
you don't.
Sleep is totally part of your physical health. I mean, also I want to say, as far as like having, like Aaron and I both had a gym membership for several years, and we just found ourselves not using it. Like we get more exercise by going out and doing things, or even with our jobs. We end up getting a lot of physical activity in theater. Aaron and I, if you don't know this, Aaron and I both work in theater. We have between us a pretty extensive Broadway career, and we got a lot of, you move in musicals, you dance, and you just get a lot of physical activity 8 times a week. So that's like a built-in activity for us. But as far as a gym membership, I might go back to it. If we found like a Planet Fitness or one of those places that's really inexpensive,
Yeah.
We would probably do it again. But
Laura put in why it's called Black-Eyed Susan.
Oh.
Thank you for that, Laura. That was very interesting, and I can't wait to read more about that. It comes from a woman named Susan who was searching for her beau on a ship. She must have had, I would assume, dark eyes. I don't think she was had, bruised eyes. I'm going to go with dark eyes, and they
that's
called her
fascinating.
That's my guess.
Never heard that story.
We'll look more into that as well.
And there's also there's other, as we're crossing into is there anything other specifically physical?
Fitness?
Yeah.
Well,
what about classes?
I was just going to say, Shamika said, I like going to classes.
Us too, Shamika.
Yeah, I'm a fan. For a short time, I was a part of the, it was literally called the Mile High Club. And it's a running facility. It's sort of like spin classes.
Okay.
Where you get on the bike and there's an instructor who's like, okay, you're going up a hill.
Oh, okay.
And it was the same thing. We were all on treadmills.
Gotcha.
And I loved that. It was, I think it's called the Mile High Club.
That might have been a misstep on that company's part to name it that, but I guess, good for them.
I'm gonna look it up while we talk.
Okay.
Thanks, Rosie. But I loved that class. I will also say, there was when I was doing Billy Elliot, I went to step classes where you had to,
Oh, yeah.
step on the step. Because we did so much, we had these chairs that we had to step up and down on throughout the show as part of our choreography. So I wanted to make sure my knees were nice and healthy and strong.
It's nice, like a structure, there's a structure when you take a class. Somebody else leads you through, a physical, health, a warm-up and a cool-down, and not to mention the physical activity. When somebody else is leading it, there's accountability. Like somebody's like, do this, so you at least try it. So there's something about a structured class that somebody is leading you through that is helpful. It's motivating, and
absolutely.
And when you find a good teacher that always plays your favorite music, or that kind of thing. What about, have you ever been interested or taken yoga classes?
Yes.
And you like it?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Yoga Paul, that's what I called him. His name is Paul. But it was like, his name was Bill, but I called him Yoga Paul.
Yeah.
No. So when I lived in, quick side note, it was Mile High Run Club.
Okay.
So Run was in there.
All right.
Mile High Run Club. So I lived in Astoria, which is a neighborhood of Queens, and I would go every Saturday morning. My friend Noelle and I, who was my former roommate as well, we would go to Paul's yoga class. And then when we weren't roommates, we still lived in Astoria, and so we'd meet up on Saturday mornings and go to yoga. And his class was terrific. And one of my favorite things that he did in class, and I always loved this, I'm sure I've told you this before, he would start class and we would go into child's pose, which is kind of relaxing, very simple, just a really good stretch. It's just sort of, down on your knees. And he would just sort of walk around the room, lights nice and dim, and he would just kind of do a little gentle chat about what we're gonna do today in class. And he would say, you did it, you're here. No matter what you do for the rest of the day, you can brag to your friends, well, I went to yoga this morning.
Yeah.
He was like, even if this is the only pose you do for the next 45 minutes, you can still say, I went to yoga this morning.
I love
that's part of working out too, is that sense of accomplishment and being able to say, I went for a jog this morning. And I think about that all the time, that if I'm like, I don't have enough time to go for my jog today, because I normally will do a 25 to 30 minute jog. And when I say jog, I mean really slow, light jog.
Yeah.
And so sometimes if I'm like, I only have time for 15 minutes, I'm like, well, go for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I can still say I went for a jog today, and 15 minutes is, terrific. That's still a good.
The one thing I love about yoga is that you can adjust everything to your level. Like there's an automatic built-in level adjuster. Some people can go deeper into a stretch, and some people, less deep into that particular stretch. But it's all just for you, and it's your self journey. I will say, we're getting a lot of positive responses about yoga in the chat, and I think it's terrific. I love the mental challenge of yoga, of just getting centered and all of that. I will say, I've only taken one yoga class, and I'll tell the story because it is funny, but because I always thought of yoga as being like an easy thing that people did, like, oh, mamby-pamby yoga, it's so, okay, sure, you're really working out. Until I took the class. I took this first class, and this teacher, the instructor, as I learned later, was not very conventional, and they were saying all of the moves in yoga, like downward dog and do this and do that, and we were all doing it, but all the while they had a recording, not of music, but of people talking throughout this whole class. And it was as if these people were in their therapy session. And so she's saying all of the moves to do as we're listening to people, say things like, oh, I don't want to push myself too hard, or I don't. And she's all the while saying, like, we're hitting a certain pose, and she's like, go deeper into the center, go deeper into the pose, and go deeper. And I'm hearing this guy being like, I don't want to be that guy that pushes everybody away. And I'm hearing her say, go deeper, and hearing this guy say, I don't want to be the person that pushes everybody away. And in the middle of this class, I literally burst into tears, and I was like, that's me. So I think I maybe went a little too far mentally
Yoga
in that yoga class, but I did get it. I get the idea of yoga, and I probably will try it again. But I will be honest, it kind of hurts my knees, so I do need to try it again sometime. But
a couple things popped up about yoga. A few people mentioned goat yoga, which I have thoughts on, and my thoughts are this: if goats are going to get you to go do yoga, go do it. Go do it.
Go do it.
Go do it. I've never done it. I'm not sure I would. I think I would just giggle the whole time, which would also be okay.
What if they,
What do they do?
Yeah.
Don't. I will also say I don't think I could do hot yoga.
Yeah, no thanks.
What's it called? Bikram?
Bikram, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. I think I get sweaty in regular yoga, and I think my palms would just slide and I'd face plant, and they'd call me Black-Eyed Aaron.
That's right.
Maybe I get a flower named after me.
Oh my God.
Kathy's put this question into the chat a couple times.
Oh yes, Kathy.
And I think it's a really good.
I saw that earlier.
A really great question, which is basically, I think the question boils down to is, do the parks in New York City have good facilities for outdoor fitness, and are they used as such? Absolutely.
They are, Kathy. Absolutely. Yeah. You see, there's that place on Riverside Park where there's like a whole workout section. That people use nonstop. I see people over there all the time with the rings and the bars and all that stuff. And not to mention that there's jogging paths all throughout the parks.
Yeah, safe ones that don't have traffic at all. And also in Central Park, right by the Great Lawn, there's that area with the bars where people work out. And there are even plaques that indicate workouts that you can do on those bars. And I will say, it's a good segue from yoga as well. Bryant Park, which is on 42nd Street, by 42nd and 6th, between 5th and 6th, they have free yoga in the summertime. Once a week they have free yoga.
I love that.
Yeah, and they have they have free Tai Chi.
I mean, I'd love to watch it. I don't want to go do it.
You don't want to go do it?
Maybe on the grass it would be better on my ankles and my knees.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. They also have free juggling. They have quite a few free dancing classes. They have quite a few free classes there. But then you'll also see Central Park, we see classes all the time that are not free, I'm sure. I'm sure those are classes that somebody arranges, like, we're going to do our yoga, instead of being in the studio this week, we're going to meet at the base of Belvedere Castle. Or whatever.
Yeah. I just want to say quickly, Cheryl, we see you. We're glad you're here, and we hope that we can be a good distraction for you today.
Love that.
Yeah, be gentle with your joints for sure. And not to mention like spin classes, and I've never actually taken a spin class. Have you?
I have.
Did you like it?
I did like it because, again, going back to the Mile High Run Club, is you're there with a group of people and there's somebody pushing you to go harder, faster, stronger, all of that.
Yeah. Pilates, yes.
I believe it's Pilates. I believe it's pie plates.
That's a class I would take.
Pie plates?
Yeah. Yes. All the aerobics or dance classes. Aaron and I working in theater, like dance classes are always kind of fun because you can take a tap class and or something. If you find a teacher that you really like, that you connect with, it's there's nothing better.
Yeah. Somebody said. Remember when Mr. Big died on the Peloton? I know, Keith. There we go.
Spoiler
Spin
alert.
Class might be bad for you.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Somebody asked if we know of cardio drumming. I don't know that, but that sounds kind of fun, actually.
That does sound
fun. And somebody else mentioned swimming for dodgy joints. I personally love swimming, and if a pool was easily accessible for me, it would probably be my number one way to get my fitness on. But it's not there. It's just not that they're not that accessible in New York. I mean, there are some.
Yeah.
But here's what I will also say in terms of, and this is a big thing about me in terms of fitness that I kind of wanted to cover as well. Part of the reason I jog is I can put on my jogging clothes here at home and I can walk out my door and start my workout right away.
Yeah.
The idea of me traveling to go do my workout and then coming home, either showering there, getting ready and leaving, or coming home sweaty and then changing. Like the idea of adding an hour to my workout time just for getting there or back, I just am immediately like, pass. But jogging, I can walk out the door and do it.
Yeah. Lynn, does running into the ice cream truck count? I mean, if you ran there, then treat yourself and have an ice cream.
Depends on how far away the ice cream truck is.
That's true.
If the ice cream truck is 2.5 miles away, then you're like, or 3 miles, you're like, I almost got a 5K in.
Yeah. Is there anything, should we talk about other types of health and wellness?
I think we should.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Yes. I also, just to bring this up, I mean, and not to, this is a real thing, like, your mental health. There's a lot of ways in which people heal themselves and keep themselves well mentally. Number one, I'll go ahead and say it. I am not scared to talk to someone, talk to a professional. Oftentimes in my life, if I'm going through big life events, I will speak to a therapist on a weekly basis, and I find it so helpful. And there's such a, there's a stigma attached often with mental health and therapy, and oftentimes people attach it negatively and to things. But for me, honestly, in those moments when I need it, it's not about getting fixed or being broken. It's honestly, I go and I talk about my week, the things that happened, and how I handled them. That's pretty much what happens every time I go to therapy. And it's just sort of like, it's because I say all of the things out loud in the week, I start to realize, I hear myself and I realize how I handled things, and in return, how I can make those things better. That's essentially, for me, what therapy is. Now, oftentimes there are things that you need to dive deeper into and figure out. And those moments happen too, but it's all a part of like learning who you are and why you make the decisions you make, or why I make the decisions I make, I should say. And I think it's so good. I think it's so helpful, and I think there are a lot more people would benefit, if they just spoke their week out loud every week.
Yeah. Can I talk about you even more in
Yes.
this regards?
Yeah, I guess.
You nervous? No, I think you do something really well that I'm not as good about, which is that you reach out to family and friends, and not when you're feeling like you need mental health help, but you chat on the phone with family and friends a lot more than I do. And I think that's really important, because just that human connection with people who support you is invaluable. I don't mean you in particular.
I understand.
Well, you in particular do that, but I think when one does that, and I'm bad about that, and I wish I was better about that.
I mean, we're living in this communication time where everyone emails and everyone texts and, or a voice memo.
Yeah.
I mean, so, things are changing, and the way in which we communicate is changing. I'm not gonna lie, I do like talking to a person directly. I feel like I can be much clearer. I like writing, and I think writing is a good creative outlet, and I do like to do that from time to time. But I feel like I can be much clearer. That's probably more about me than it is about other people. I just feel like I can be clearer, and I can communicate what I want this person to know, how I feel, much clearer and better if I talk to them directly.
Yeah. Somebody mentioned even just going for a walk in the fresh air is so good for the mental health.
Oh,
Isn't
God.
that true? Oh my
Yeah.
God, like just clearing your head.
Oh my gosh, speaking of which, so last night Aaron had to go babysit for a friend of ours for like a couple of hours, and he forgot that they have cats, and Aaron is allergic to cats. And I was like, can you just go by the window, open the window, stick your head out the window?
Yeah.
But you were actually fine.
I was fine. I didn't sit on the sofa. I sat on the dining chair, which was a hard
Wouldn't have,
plastic chair, and they have the cutest cat too. It looks like it has a mustache. Forget the cat's name. I think it's Charlie. But it looks like it has a mustache. It's got a white face with a black little mustache, And
Good for you, Natasha. Take care of you.
Yay. I just want to love on it, but I can't.
Yeah,
because it will
I
make
know.
me sneeze.
They're like fluffy and cute, and
Yeah, and they know it too, I think, and they come and they just get closer. They're like, we know you want to love on me, but anyway.
Right.
If I take a Zyrtec D, I'm usually fine. I just forgot about the cats and I didn't take it before I went.
Yeah. I'm gonna take this mental health discussion even a little further, and I'm gonna say this.
Is this gonna be an intervention?
Aaron, we're all here because we love you.
Yeah.
Look, mental health, I am not, I think that anyone that has like anxiety issues or stress levels that because of their job or their life or for whatever reason, if you need to, I think there's medicine that can be helpful. And, I would not, if I felt like I was at a level where I could not handle my life and the stress and the anxiety of things that were surrounding me, I would talk to a professional and get a prescription. I wouldn't stop me in a second. I would do it in a second. I think it's helpful and useful for people. And it's funny. I feel like I was thinking about this morning as we were sort of what we were going to discuss, and we are all products of the people that made us and that raised us, and we are the people that made us and raised us, but we're born into the bodies that we have, the vessels that we
Absolutely.
have. Genetic wise, we have to deal with specific health things that we don't have control over sometimes. And, we all have to sort of mentally figure out how to navigate, mentally and physically navigate through all of those channels of what we were given, the vessel that we're born into. And so I feel like that's part of it. Modern medicine is a miracle, and there are people that that don't use it correctly. But I think, used correctly, I'm not opposed to any sort of like help with a medicine that's going to help me stay normal, level me out, or something. If I needed it, I would do it in a second.
Yeah. A couple things in the chat.
Yes.
That I'll catch up on. So in that, piggybacking off of what Patrick said, a lot of people said, in addition or in place of the medication, some people mentioned aromatherapy, massage, meditation. I think all are great. We started meditating during the pandemic. I had never before.
I hadn't either,
Yeah.
no.
And my good friend Kate lives in LA, and she was transitioning from, so she works in HR, human resources, but she also does meditation. And what she was noticing, I thought this was incredible, was that she felt like a lot of big corporations, she thought, well, what if there was a meditation program in place for them to handle things at work? And so she decided to start doing guided meditation to try to create sort of a new niche business for corporations that want meditation, which was successful for her. So we were guinea pigs during the pandemic. It was great. Patrick and I and some of her family and some other friends, we'd all get on Zoom, and she would lead us through meditation. And I had never done it before. And I mean, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it became a nap.
Yeah, oftentimes we would find ourselves nodding off during it. But I think that's a good thing. It put us in a place where we just like shut down, and just not shut down, that's wrong, but like we went to like a very centered, calm, place, which was good.
Also that was during lockdown. A lot of people have mentioned Hago helping them during lockdown, which for those that might be new to us, Hago was a virtual touring site we would tour on, and we couldn't agree more. It helped us enormously, mentally and physically.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how much walking we did because in addition to the tours that we would do live, we would, I bet, quadruple that. We would do that amount of walking times 4 in the week in order to prep for the tours.
Yeah.
So I mean, we did so much walking.
We did. We really did.
Wild. Hi, Carol, by the way. And then Rosie asked what symptoms you think you might be allergic to cats as well. What symptoms do you have? It probably comes up in different ways, but for me, I feel it in my eyes first. And it's like the bottom part of my eyes start to feel puffy and itchy, and then they kind of get just puffy, and then my nose just starts sneezing and running. But once I'm away from the cats for about an hour, as long as I've taken off, like changed my clothes that I was wearing, then I'm usually okay, especially if I can take some allergy medication. But so it's not really bad.
A lot of people are saying Hago really helped through the pandemic, and we'll be honest, it helped us as well. We were able to connect with people at a time when people were just staying home, and that was hugely helpful.
And also one of those things, again, somebody mentioned meditation, massage, and aromatherapy. I haven't done much with aromatherapy, but every now and then I do, and I have to agree it can really help. We like to have candles going, and sometimes even just a candle will help my mental well-being. Like there's something about a candle just burning and the scent of it and the feeling of it that can like calm me down. And in terms of massage, I mean, we love a good chair massage, like the kind you find in the middle of a mall.
Yeah, or like a lot of the nail salons in New York City also will do they'll have a massage chair sitting there, and you can sit down for like 20 minutes and they just work out the kinks in your neck. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's good for your health.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's good for your physical health and your mental health because it relaxes you, and it also gets your muscles relaxed, which is a good thing. So you don't hurt anything.
I missed this before, but someone earlier mentioned Alex in Australia doing his meditation tours, which are just such a cool thing, and what a great way to cast such a wide, calm net. Around the world. I just loved him for doing that.
Okay, do you have questions? Do you want me to go?
You can go.
Well, okay, I will say this. So in terms of health, another thing we do a lot is we do a program called Whole30, which we've been doing the past 2 weeks. We sort of just ended it last night. We did Whole15. Which we sometimes do. We sometimes say when we're going to start it, okay, we're just going to do it for 2 weeks or however many days. You're supposed to do it for 30 days. And the idea is you basically just eat meat and vegetables. No grain, no sugar, no dairy, no legumes. You can have a little bit of fruit.
Yeah.
And the idea is to sort of break you of some cravings, figure out how foods affect your body. We also use it for just sort of a nice cleanse. So yeah, exactly, sort of a detox, Natalie.
That's exactly what it is. And because we both ingest way too much sugar. We love a sweet treat. So to balance that out, a couple of times a year, we'll do the Whole30 and just sort of like detox with the sugar. And I think it gives us a good balance, a healthy diet. I mean, you just, without getting too much into it, I can't help but wonder, with all of the processed foods that all of us are guilty of eating at some point or another, how much that affects, what's happening in the world, cancer-wise, and, so we really do try to eat fresh vegetables and, and not get too much processed. Now, of course, we'll eat a Hostess, we do we do love those kinds of treats, but we do try to balance it out with our normal meals that we eat at home. We do try to keep a good balance, so.
Yeah, one thing on this Whole30 is you can't have added sugar in things, and it's always shocking to me to see like a can of tomatoes and it has sugar in it, and yet you can find canned tomatoes without sugar in it. And that's just extra sugar you're having. Again, this is coming from somebody who, as most of you know, loves a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah.
But I know I'm ingesting sugar at that point in time. If I'm like, I want some tomatoes, then I don't want added sugar.
Yeah. I just saw that my cousin Patricia is on. Hi, Peach.
Hi.
But
Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, we just finished 2 weeks of that, which was a good go round actually. How do you feel in terms of finishing 2 weeks of Whole30?
I feel good. I always feel like my joints feel better, and I will say, it is sort of ironic that we are having this chat today about health and wellness, because was it yesterday? 2 days.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. I'm gonna sit back.
Thank you, Natasha.
I had this happen.
Ah!
I had a repair. I had a small tear on a tendon that needed to be repaired, and it's been needing repaired for a long time. And I finally had it done 2 days ago. So it is funny that we're having this chat today,
Yeah.
which I don't think we really talked about it or even planned it.
No, we didn't plan, but it
funny.
fits in quite well.
But also a good reason that we are doing the Whole30. We did have ice cream last night, so now I guess we're officially
But
done.
not that much, just
Yeah.
a little bit.
Aaron made some homemade lemon ice cream that was really good.
Yeah.
It was homemade, so it was organic.
Yeah, exactly.
But yes, so I think it's a good thing that we did the Whole30, because having this surgery, it put me in like a good jumping off place, to heal.
Yeah. Lynn says summer is filled with fresh fruits and veggies. I know, that's one thing I just love in the summertime. We actually, I don't know if you know of CSAs, Community Supported Agriculture, but you basically kind of buy into a share of a farm. And we used to be a member of one for years here
Yeah.
in New York, and the farm, one was in New Jersey, one was on Long Island, and they would bring in your share of the farm once a week. You'd go pick it up, and then friends of ours during lockdown started their own, and so we did that. They still do it, but because of our schedules, we haven't been able to do it the past couple of years. But just yesterday, she was working in the city, and so she posted on Instagram that if anybody wants any vegetable shares this week, I'm coming into the city. And so I ordered a share of vegetables from them and picked them up, and they are so gorgeous because the summertime veggies and fruits are just so perfect. It's just unbelievable. So we had delicious lunch. We had some, we had the squash last night.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we had potatoes, squash, and onions sauteed together for
Yeah.
her. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, really, really cool.
So good. Which actually, you want to go ahead?
No, go ahead. No, because you're just gonna.
I was going to bounce off
Second.
that and just ask you speaking of fresh vegetables and all that, what is your favorite healthy food?
My favorite healthy food?
Yeah.
I mean,
Organic ice cream.
I guess. I guess a banana.
Oh yeah.
I guess a banana. Or do you mean I love squash.
Oh.
Oh gosh, as a kid, this isn't necessarily. The squash is healthy, but the way that we would make it is not so healthy. We used to, my mom would saute squash and onions together in a lot of butter. But, so, oh gosh, I used to love that.
Yeah.
So I guess any sort of vegetables from the garden, I love. Roasted vegetables.
I love a roasted Brussels sprout.
Thank you, Natasha.
As a kid, Brussels sprout. Did you like Brussels sprouts as a kid?
No.
Me either. But as an adult,
I love them.
Can't get enough of them.
Yeah.
Especially if they're roasted and crispy. That is my that's my aunt.
I know, Auntie, he threw me with what's your favorite healthy food? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know. I did. Yeah, you're like a Twinkie.
A cheesecake.
Because that's healthier than something else.
And Jan said she bets touring, eating healthy while touring is a challenge.
Oh.
And that is true, Jan. And for those of you that don't know, that Aaron and I work in theater, and Aaron is getting ready to go on tour. We said this last week, right?
Did, yeah.
Aaron's getting ready to go on tour with Mrs. Doubtfire, the musical. So, yes, eating healthy can be a challenge if you're sort of staying in hotel rooms. But the options for his hotels in general, we have noticed, are mostly have breakfast options, so he'll be able to, refrigerators and
Kitchenettes.
microwaves. So kitchenettes. So
Yeah.
he'll be able to do some of his own cooking while he's on the road, which is good.
Oh, Laura, I couldn't agree more. Summer tomatoes with basil. You know what's interesting is I was never a tomato fan either, because I typically find most of the tomatoes that we have in our supermarkets are just like mushy and flavorless.
And taste, they have no flavor.
And then we went to Italy and I had their tomatoes and I was like, this is what a tomato can taste like? So now I seek out farmers market tomatoes or my friends who have their little farm. And those tomatoes, I think, oh, these are terrific. They're quite delicious.
Yeah.
I do love that. And of course, if you're gonna make it a caprese salad and throw some mozzarella in there, I'm not gonna complain. But then you lose a little bit of your healthiness by having that cheese in there. But who cares? Moderation.
That's true.
That's a big part of it. Tomato sandwiches in the summer. Actually, I think we're gonna do BLTs for dinner with the gorgeous tomatoes that she brought us.
I also think, and I'm going to tell a little bit on myself, but I also don't think you can deny yourself, the healthy things. It's all about balance, and this has come up several times in the chat already, but, if you want something, a sweet treat, then, then allow yourself those things. I think that's a good balance of, not overdoing it. And speaking of as a person who can definitely overdo it, and I have many times, and probably will again, I don't think we should deny ourselves certain things. I think that's unhealthy in its own way. Then I feel like you're suppressing something, in a weird way.
Yeah.
But
Antia mentioned our mini garden on the street. For those of you that don't know, we took over a little dirt patch that's in the middle of a sidewalk here in New York City, and it's doing really well. We'll have to post some pictures of it.
Yeah, it is actually doing well. Our rose has a little bud on it.
A little tiny bud.
And the canna lilies are coming up.
Yeah, and we have a bunch of marigolds that are about to bloom, and some zinnias.
Yeah.
And one sunflower that's about to bloom.
Yeah.
But it was this dirt patch that now looks green and lovely, which leads us to another thing. Wellness. Gardening is incredible for wellness.
You are a wonder. That sure is wellness for us. We love planting the flower boxes and just bringing things to life and propagating various things that we find, or I don't know. There's a strange nurturing, healthy approach to that type of thing. And
Patrick has some coleus leaves that he found on the sidewalk recently that were like after we had a big rain and they had fallen off, so we picked them up and we're rooting them in a glass of water in the kitchen right now, so that where do you want to put them? Out in our patch?
I guess
there's room. There's a little room there.
We also just put in some like Rose of Sharon. Some friends of ours gave us a little Rose of Sharon.
Yeah, they're teeny tiny, but you know how if you know Rose of Sharon, who's Sharon? We should do a whole episode on flower names.
Rose or Sharon.
Rose or Sharon. No, seriously though, that would be a fun chat, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Flower names. You don't think so? I think it'd be fun.
I'm writing it down right now.
Good. I think that would be a fun chat. Because the names of flowers, just to discuss where they came from, we'd have to do a little research in advance, but that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that would be.
For those that are flower fans, I mean, it's, because they have such, interesting names. Okay, here's an interesting, this is more health than wellness.
Okay.
Flossing.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Same.
I feel like, I feel like it has helped me. I denied good dental hygiene for a few years in my 20s, and I ended up having to get a lot of dental work done. And since then, I do not want to go through root canals or any of that stuff. I mean, maybe I'll have to again, but I don't want to do that again. So I floss every day.
Same.
Only once. I just do it at the end of the day. But I do it daily.
Yeah, and I brush twice a day, but if I'm working on a show, I'll brush before the show to have, nice clean breath backstage or on stage.
Yeah.
But sometimes that's even then if it's a 2-show day, then it's like 4 times a day I'm brushing, which could be too much. That might be bad for the enamel.
I mean, I don't know.
I just do a quick one though. Or I use sometimes mouthwash instead of brushing then.
I mean, we work closely with other people when we're on stage, and so I often will use those like the Listerine sprays, just like a quick spritz before I go on stage.
Yeah. Yes, good for the gums, exactly. Electric toothbrush, question mark.
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah, love it. It does the work for you.
Yeah, mine broke, so I'm currently I'm purposely using a manual because I'm getting ready to go on the road and I don't want to travel the electric one. So I'll use the manual for a while, and then when I get off the road, I'll buy a new electric one. It's electric. Boogie, boogie, boogie. Do, 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 do. Let's see, what else do I have? Do you have other stuff?
I think I checked everything off of my list. Wait. Oh yeah, I said that.
Yeah.
Just crossing things off.
Well, I am curious, do you have, we discussed physical health already.
Yeah.
And in terms of like fitness, but do you have a favorite way to get your physical health or your fitness?
Elliptical. That's like the best, that's the easiest thing on my knees. I used to love running, and Aaron likes jogging, but I've had various surgeries on various tendons from dancing so much as a young person, and
It's just too hard.
Yeah, it's too difficult.
Yeah.
But I love jogging, but so the elliptical is like I can burn a bunch of calories, and
What about rowing? I feel like you'd be good at that. Have you ever tried that?
I haven't.
I feel like that'd be a good one for you too.
Yeah.
I will say this about running, because I do like jogging. I don't want to say running. Running implies I go fast.
Like, what are you running away from?
Yeah, exactly. Jogging makes it sound a little bit more like I'm trotting like a horse, which is better. There's no galloping involved. But I am not good on a treadmill. I get bored in about 2 minutes, even if I have like a TV show playing in front of me. But I see the time going, and I see 2 minutes, and I'm like, oh gosh, I have another 23 minutes to go, or 28 minutes to go, however long I'm going to jog, and it is impossible for me. I mean, I'll do it, but I hate it. But if I'm outside, seeing the world go by, seeing people, seeing life, jogging for me is weirdly relatively easy, especially if I've got some tunes going, or a podcast going.
Yeah.
I enjoy it. I never thought I would say that before.
Mimi mentioned, what about health screenings? And absolutely,
Yeah.
the older that we all get, we have to check in with more things every year, it seems like. So yeah, I mean, I get an annual physical and get everything checked out, and
We both do, yeah. Once a year.
there's various things to add to the list to keep an eye on every year, but yeah, we have to keep up with those things.
I think and in terms of wellness, there's been a lot of things pop up in the chat, but I think it's so easy to forget that sometimes, somebody mentioned taking a walk in the fresh air earlier, or meditation, or yoga, or aromatherapy, but it's really easy to forget that sometimes just sitting and enjoying something you love, whether it is a piece of dark chocolate or a vinyl of Joni Mitchell,
Reading a good book.
Even watching your favorite television.
Craft.
Where's that emphasis coming from? Television show. Yeah, a good craft. Oh, I just thought of a good wellness thing for me. A puzzle.
Oh.
A puzzle can lower my blood pressure. What?
What is it about the puzzle that makes you is it just about solving a mystery?
I think it's, what I think it is? I tend to be a multitasker, for better or worse, and sometimes for worse, where I will try to have lots of things going. But for a puzzle, I can have music on in the background, but there's I'm focused on one thing. And whether it's working on the border or working on this particular color.
Yeah.
And yes, I think there is something about solving the mystery, but I also think there's an organizing thing I like about it, because I like that aspect of things, even though you wouldn't always know that from my closet.
It's like task oriented.
Yeah. I think
we're all
that's
learning.
part of it.
Sometimes about our own spouse.
Laughter, agreed. Great for mental health. Absolutely.
Crosswords, yes, Mimi. My mother always used to say crosswords are good. Like if you feel it helps with it helps to stave off, any sort of dementia or Alzheimer's, that type of thing. So yes, crosswords are good.
That's why I do the New York Times mini crossword every morning, Wordle, and their new connections. New York Times, is anybody playing hot question: is anybody playing New York Times Connections daily game on the chat? Because I'm obsessed with it. But I do those 3 games every single morning because I feel like it's a good way to kind of get my brain going with my coffee. And so, yes, I knew there was going to be other people who are. I've had to lean over to Patrick and be like, "Can you figure out what connection between these words?" But it's really good. I have tried the spelling bee. I need to pick it up again. But I tend to only do those 3. I should try the spelling bee as well. Some folks mentioned about singing, both in the choir and in the shower. Agreed.
Yeah.
Singing.
I've often thought it would be fun to just join like a local choir, just for fun.
Yeah.
I've never done that before, but I do like choral singing, and I don't know.
You let them know you're a Broadway performer or not? Or would you like go in and try to be a ringer?
No, I don't know. I wouldn't keep it a secret. I mean, if it came up, I mean, if I went there, I clearly would go just because I wanted to be there, not because I wanted to walk in and be like, Broadway's here.
Also, not to say that we as Broadway singers would be ringers in a choir, because I oftentimes feel like choral singers would sing far better than us, because they have like a trained choral voice, which is a little bit different than what we do.
Yeah.
That is still quite, we can emulate it.
Yeah.
Or I shouldn't say we, me.
My secret desire is to be part of a barbershop quartet. I don't know, I mean, you have to have such a fine ear for it, but I love that sound so much. There's something, Aaron knows this because I've said it many times, but there's something about a barbershop quartet, or if you've ever been to Disney World, the Voices of Liberty, that's a similar sound. It's this very like straight tone, like tight harmony, that those chord progressions, that full straight tone sound, for some reason, it fills my soul, and I love that sound, and it actually will make me tear up if I like on the big last final chord note that's so pingy and perfect. It rings, and it makes me tear up in a weird way.
Yeah.
So that was probably my secret dream, is to be a part of a barbershop quartet.
If you're ever going to Epcot at Disney World, go to hear the Voices of Liberty in the American Pavilion. It is they're remarkable, and they usually have like a handful of shows a day, right? The Voices of Liberty.
They do.
Yes.
Patricia, yes, I know that about him, and maybe that's where I got that desire from. Who knows?
Yeah. Gregorian chants are calming. There was a time I listened to Gregorian when I was in college. I would sometimes listen to them when I was doing my work, because I wanted something soothing as I was like doing my studies, but not words that I would listen to, if that makes sense. Because if I started listening to the lyrics, then I'd get pulled away from my work. So I forgot I used to listen to Gregorian chants then. I think my mom turned me on to that.
Auntia mentioned that she loved listening to a particular song from the Eagles. It's funny, like for me, I connect that emotionally with a barbershop quartet, but everybody has their own music or sound or something that helps them tap into that like joyful, soulful place. Yeah. So, dive in, whatever that is for you, dive into it, and, and stay healthy.
Listen up. Here's what's coming up ahead, since we're nearing the end of our time together today, believe it or not. We have, normally we put our videos up at noon, New York time, but knowing we were doing a live today at noon, I switched today's video to 3. I was gonna switch the day, but it's a Subway Sunday, so that's weird to put a Subway Sunday up on a Monday.
Yeah.
Like the universe would crack.
Yeah.
So at 3 o'clock today, New York City time, a new Subway Sunday pops up. What's really delightful about this particular Subway Sunday is it's 1 in a 3-part series. So there are 3 subway stations in Harlem that show off the notable folks that made Harlem what it is, the notable institutions that made that neighborhood what it is, and each station, 116th, 125th, and 135th, has a different artist.
Yeah.
And each one has a different feel, but they all have the same purpose. And they're really terrific. They're gorgeous and colorful and incredible and vibrant. And so 116th goes up today. at 3 p.m. New York City
Yeah.
time. If you don't know our Subway Sunday series, we show off a different subway here in New York City, the platform or the station, which has art inside the station.
So many of our subway stations all around New York City are decked out in different types of art, whether it's mosaics or pictures or sculptures, different things. But they're all really cool and all really different. So we try to show off a different subway station every Sunday.
Yeah. We'll probably have a couple other things pop up this week. For those of you that don't know, I'm in rehearsals for the national tour of Mrs. Doubtfire, and Patrick just had his surgery. So in terms of getting stuff edited and up on the website, it could be a little bit limited, but I'm hoping we have a couple ideas of things that we'll hopefully get up this week. We also have a lot of content that we've already filmed that we just need to get edited and up. So there could be more, but that's the one that's definitely going up ahead, which is today's at 3 p.m. New York City time.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, I love seeing we didn't get to respond to everything, but I just love people tossing into the chat, like, what makes them happy, what music makes them happy, what activity makes them happy, what, it makes me feel like this is such a positive, I didn't exactly know what this was going to be like, this chat today, but it's turned out to be this incredibly positive and, great chat about wellness. So stay well, everyone, and keep it going.
And we might repeat this particular topic, because it's good, in 6 months from now, it might be a good idea to repeat this topic. And
it makes me feel like we're all going to be okay. In the craziness of the world right now, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think I have too much else to say. That's our update on our lives.
Yeah.
That's our update on our YouTube channel. I think that's it. I'm gonna get a perm this week, so we'll see you next week. I'll have a new hairdo. So tune in next week to see what that new hairdo is gonna look like.
Okay, wow. Well, there it is. Cliffhanger, everyone.
Yeah, how about that?
Thanks.
Thank you all for the wonderful words. Thank you all for joining us today. Thank you to anybody who might have financially contributed, and if you wish, at the top of the chat there is a pinned link where you can.
Oh yeah, there's all the information that's on there.
And thanks for joining.
All right. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye. Be well, be safe, be happy.